Now, the State Department says it's ending foreign assistance programs to El Salvador, Guatemala and Honduras as directed by President Trump. Announcing that he was ending the payments, Mr. Trump insisted that the three Central American countries hadn't done a thing for America. Democrats say the move could make immigration problems worse and are threatening to try to block it. Well, Ken Baker is Chief Executive Officer of Glasswing. It provides community building and education programs to stop violence all over Central America. 35% of its funding comes from the US government. Well, Ken, thank you so much for joining us. Do you know if your funding is going to be cut?
Thank you very much for having me. You know, it's sometimes complicated to understand where in the process the threat that was made, when the impact will have its impact. But our hope is that it will not, because to be honest, both Republicans and the Democrats both understand and realize the importance of foreign aid, especially to the Northern Triangle.
So you haven't heard from anyone just yet about what might happen to this portion of your funding?
No, we have not. We have not.
Okay.
We have not heard that.
Yes, I'm sure these kind of aid programs are quite multifaceted, but specifically with immigration, does it stop people leaving these three countries and seeking another life in Mexico or the US?
Well, essentially Glasswing as an organization, our goal, ironically, or our objective, ironically, is very similar to the current administration's goals, which is we want to keep people thriving and safe in Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, and we work every day to ensure this by empowering communities, by providing opportunities for youth. And yes, we think these programs, it could be from governments working with police, absolutely have an impact on slowing migration. But the challenges are great as well. The violence in the region and from gangs and other are very impactful as well. So we have seen in our programs impact, but the challenge is great as well.
But many people watching may say, well, how much of an effect can these programs have, since we still see pictures of many people leaving these countries and heading for a better life elsewhere?
Right, and I mean, when we talk about the circumstances that people are living on, I mean, one thing that gets lost is people think that migration, they always take the side of, migration, what is the impact on the United States and at the border and everything, but what is the impact that it has on these countries? It breaks down families, there's a brain drain. So it's absolutely critical to stop the migration, and you have to deal with the problem at its source and where the problem actually is. Once you go to the border, once you talk about the politics that's involved, in the U.S., it's too late. It's too late then. I mean, you have to deal with the root causes of the migration.
So just briefly, what do you think needs to happen next? What would you like to see to try and deal with this brain drain and migration that happens from these countries?
Well, I think the U.S. has to continue the road that it's been on, which is from both the Republican side and the Democratic side, is to invest more in the region. There's close ties. And try to stem it and invest in education and other initiatives, try to continue to get the private sector from the United States, who have vested interest in this region, to continue to invest in the region and its people. And I think that needs to continue because, once people migrate, there's another thing that people don't talk a lot about, is it exacerbates the challenges. Once they've left, the road to the U.S. is really difficult, and it creates a lot of post-traumatic stress. And when they are, we have to try to reunify them within their communities after they're sent back. Really, the only solution, the main solution, is to try to meet this challenge at its source. And El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala are making progress, and in a lot of ways, but there are serious challenges that need to be addressed. Yes.
Still so much to unpick, I'm sure, with this issue. Ken Baker in El Salvador, thank you so much.